Liger, the biggest and strongest feline in the world. It's a common misconception that separate animal species can't interbreed. In fact, some can, and it results in so-called hybrid offspring. It shares the genes of two different species, which is puzzling to say the least. After all, one of the things that allows scientists to draw a line between species is the answer to whether they can produce offspring. If they can't, they're thought to be different species that differ vastly on a genetic level. However, species that are genetically close to each other can sometimes breed, producing a whole new animal variety, and some of them are nothing short of spectacular. This is WildFacts, and today we're going to tell you the story of the liger, the biggest and strongest feline in the world. Before we start, consider subscribing to our channel and clicking the notification bell so you're the first one to see our new video. What is a liger? Let's take the king of the jungle, a male lion, and introduce it to a tigress, a female of the biggest feline species in the world. The result is a hybrid called a liger, which inherited the best features of both of its parents to result in the most fascinating big cat in the world. While tigers are the biggest extant cat species, ligers are actually bigger than them. Much, much bigger. Liger males weigh up to 900 pounds or 400 kilograms, which is twice as much as its father lion, which ranges from 400 to 500 pounds, or 180 to 225 kilograms, and much, much more than tigers, which can exceed 660 pounds or 300 kilograms. But don't think that ligers are some chubby cats, because their weight is proportionate to their body length, which ranges from 10 to 12 feet or 3 to 3.6 meters. For comparison, most male lions are somewhere between 6 feet and 6 feet 8 inches, or 1.8 to 2.1 meters long, and male tigers range from 8 to 12 feet, or 2.4 to 3.6 meters in length. So ligers are absolute units and are actually comparable to the now extinct saber-toothed tiger, which is one of the biggest cat species to ever roam our planet. If you're interested to learn more about the saber-tooths, check out our previous video after you're done watching this one. Now, let's take a deeper look at how ligers can even exist. Liger Genetics. Lions and tigers are different species of big cats, but they belong to the same genus, Panthera. Even though lions and tigers shared the last common ancestor about 4 million years ago, the species remain similar enough to be capable of interbreeding and producing hybrid offspring, the liger. It's nothing short of amazing when you learn that modern humans and Neanderthals shared the last common ancestor as recently as 500,000 years ago. How lions and tigers didn't evolve much further apart despite living in completely different environments for millions of years is a mystery, but what allows them to interbreed is the fact that both lions and tigers have 38 chromosomes. It's actually the number of chromosomes that determine whether two different animal species can produce offspring or not. Only genetically similar species that have the same or nearly the same number of chromosomes have a chance of interbreeding. This explains why ligers aren't the only animal hybrids and not even the only big cat hybrids. But how can it grow to be much larger than both of its parents? The liger can get so big because of its unique genetic makeup that arises specifically from being hybrid between a male lion and a female tiger. A hybrid of a female lion and a male tiger also exists. It's called a tigon, but it really isn't any larger than its parents. So, the reason why ligers are enormous is that lions are polygamous, meaning they have multiple mates throughout their lives. As a result, male lions have evolved to pass on genes that promote growth, because their offspring are likely to compete with other lions of the same mother. Thus, the main factor that determines which lion offspring is going to succeed in mating is the size advantage that it's inherited from its father. However, lions are much smaller than ligers, and that's because female lions have genes that inhibit the growth-promoting genes of male lions. It puts a ceiling on their offspring's growth potential, stopping the species from growing any larger than they are now. And here's where tigers enter the picture. You see, tigers haven't evolved similar mating strategies based on specific genes and size. As a result, a liger inherits a growth-promoting gene from its father lion. But its tiger mother doesn't carry any genes that counterbalance it, making a liger grow insanely large. Now you might be asking how it could be that ligers aren't outcompeting lions and tigers in the wild. After all, a liger is more social and larger than a tiger, and stronger and a much better swimmer than a lion. So why aren't ligers inhabiting the savannas of Africa and the rainforests of Southeast Asia? The dark side of animal hybrids. The main thing stopping animal hybrids, including ligers, from dominating nature is fertility. All male ligers are sterile and can't reproduce their own offspring. It makes sense when you think about it. After all, if two different species could produce fertile offspring, then over time they would just merge into one big group of animals without any clear dividing line between the species. However, that's clearly not the case in the real world. For example, mules, which are hybrids of a donkey and a horse, are always sterile because horses and donkeys have a different number of chromosomes. 64 for the horse and 62 for the donkey. Despite not having the exact same number of chromosomes, they can interbreed, but it always leads to an infertile offspring regardless of its gender. It's because the offspring, in this case a mule, has 63 chromosomes, which makes it sterile. In fact, many mammal hybrids are sterile because they have an odd number of chromosomes leading to genetic abnormalities. However, there's an exception to this rule which allows ligers to be fertile. Lions and tigers happen to have the same number of chromosomes. That means their hybrid offspring inherits exactly the right number of chromosomes from each parent for cell division to occur properly in its body. As a result, ligers can grow up healthy and even reproduce themselves. But it only applies to some female ligers because, as we've mentioned before, male ligers are always fertile. There's another catch. Even though liger females can mate with lions and tiger males, their offspring are usually sterile. The same goes for tigons, the hybrid between a male tiger and a female lion. In fact, all subsequent generations of hybrids between lions and tigers are likely to be sterile as well. So why is that? It's because the chromosomes of lions and tigers have slightly different structures, which means that they don't pair up perfectly when ligers or tigons try to reproduce. This leads to problems in cell division and development, which often results in infertility. That's why you will almost never see any animal hybrids in the wild. They're either not viable or fertile enough to propagate their species over time. That's obviously ignoring the fact that most species that can interbreed aren't even inhabiting the same areas. The same applies to lions living in Africa and tigers living in Southeast Asia. These are the reasons why ligers don't exist in the wild, but then it begs the question, where do ligers come from? Ligers in captivity. They are exclusively found in captivity inside big zoos and national parks where lion males and tiger females are intentionally interbred to produce invaluable hybrids. However, it's much more difficult than breeding tigers or lions, which is an insanely difficult feat on its own. That's why today there's just about only 100 living ligers. In addition to being difficult to breed, ligers also have a much shorter lifespan compared to its parent species. While tigers and lions usually live 20 to 25 years in captivity, most ligers don't even grow old enough to see their 15th birthday. While we all praise ligers for their size, it's also their demise. While generally bigger species live longer, ligers tend to suffer from a plethora of health problems that arise from the interbreeding and even inbreeding. These include heart defects, bone disease, and even cancer. This video won't end on a high note, but it's important to know both sides of the coin. As spectacular as ligers are, they don't exist in the wild for a reason. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave your thoughts and suggestions for future videos in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell, and check out our previous videos. Until next time.